Hi, folks. I be Salty Daryl.
I be Alicia.
And this be Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate complication.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. You're not going to do that for the whole video,
No, I'm not. No, I agree, it's hard. But there's some milestones in this video that we're going to discuss. And one of those milestones calls for all of this.
Okay.
So I had to put this. I've been waiting to put this on, and I'm glad. So I'm ready.
He really has been waiting to wear that hat, so.
All right. So today we're going to talk about so many different games played that we've been playing over the last few weeks. And there's 17 on the list. I got my list down here. Oh, I might as well. I can take the hat off now.
Please.
Wow. So I got 17 games that we're going to talk about. And so with those 17, there's some of them that we've talked about before, so we're not going to spend too much time on them. But there are some of them that are pretty much new. All right? So without wasting any time, let's get to the games that you and I have been playing.
Okay.
So I believe there are 6 games for us.
Okay.
You know. Now, the first game we played was Dabba Walla.
Okay.
What did you think about Dabba Walla?
Well, I like it. One of the things I like about Dabba Walla is something that doesn't always draw me in, and it is the unique thing.
Yeah, it is a unique thing.
Yeah, so I really, that was different, and that made it appealing. It's not as thematic as most games that I really like, but I still enjoyed it a lot.
Well, I really like this. So Dabba Walla is a game where we are Dabba Wallas, or
Yes.
food delivery people who are picking up these meals from family homes, and we're taking them to these different businesses or other homes or whatever, and we're stacking up as much as we can. So there's 2 separate rounds. The first round is the pickup round, where we are moving around this board and drafting these polyomino tiles to put on our carts. And as we're putting them down, we're building up. You know, it's a 3x3 grid, the one we played with. But there are different type of carts. And so you're building up, and you might build to a 2nd level or 3rd level or whatever. And every time you get one of the T symbols, you get one of those T tokens that might give you a special ability or some in-game way to score in-game bonus points. And then in the second part is the delivery phase. Because when you grab these, the way you get these polyomino tiles is by taking these cards. And so you're going to have these cards, but the bottom part of the cards give you a scoring opportunity per round. So we're simultaneously going to start at each level and start scoring those levels. And like I said, the tiles are different color: green, yellow, red, and blue. And so you might have a card that gives blue plus 2 points. So you're a score of 2 points for each little square of blue on your card. Thing is,
You might get a card that says green scores 0.
Yep. Or -1.
So you might have a lot of, you might have hardly any green or no green on that level, and your opponents now are going to lose points or score no points for their green. So it does stuff like that too.
Yeah, it started messing with other folks. And so I really like it's a simple game to pick up. I like the way that everything is stored in the box, because you could just pick it up and its setup is easy.
Yes.
The one thing I really like about it is that guy on the cover of the box. He looked like he really enjoys his job. So we played it a couple of times and we really enjoyed it. You really liked it?
I did like Dabba Walla.
Okay. So anyway, what's the next one? Milestone. She played Barcelona.
Finally.
Now, Barcelona, I'm still doing my personal board game challenge, and Barcelona was one of the games that I wanted to get to the table. And also, it was one of the games that Alicia said she wanted to play over the summer.
So, we got Barcelona to the table, and yes, it is definitely a game I needed to play over the summer. It has a lot going on, but I enjoyed it, and once I got the hang of it, I like games where there are multiple ways to score points. So I think I really like that about Barcelona. And since it's a city building game where you're trying to build up your section of Barcelona, you really score points when you put out buildings. And I think that was quite thematic. So it was a lot going on. It did take a little.
Yeah, the first time we played, like what you're doing in the game is simple. But figuring out how to score points or where you can score points, I had to usually in our first teach, I let Alicia know her opportunities or what ways she can score points. You could do this or you could do that or whatever. So sometimes the teach might take a little longer, but that's okay because I really want her to understand and enjoy and feel like she's did something.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. And it's just at my complexity level. I like games that are slightly complex, maybe medium weight. I don't need that heavyweight stuff.
Wait a minute. You said this is just at your complexity level?
I'm saying no, I don't mean it's at the beginning. It's at the limit. I don't want to play anything harder than this. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay. All right. I think, like I said, being that you're drawing these little the tokens that represents the middle class, the lower class, and the upper class, and you place them on the board, and at that intersection you take in two different actions. And then if in that intersection there's one or more other tokens that represents the middle class or lower class or whatever, then you have the opportunity to build a building and score some points. And so, I mean, our first play, it was just more like once you figure out, like I said, it's very easy what you're doing, but how you score points, she was like, wait a minute, I could do this and that, and wait, this is a lot. But at least I know you played it and you enjoyed it. It is a beautiful game on the table, All right, so the next one we played was Charcuterie.
All right, so see, this is what I'm talking about. Charcuterie was the easy learn.
Yeah.
And it's a nice theme. I like charcuterie. I can understand it, and thanks to him, I actually knew what a charcuterie was.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so charcuterie, we've discussed this before. It's I pick, you choose. Now the thing is, we're making our own charcuterie boards, and we're trying to score points based on these different cards. Now we've only played it at 2-player. Played it a few times at 2-player. So I'm anticipating playing it with more players because I think that will bring in a little bit more, Yeah,
I think it would play a little bit differently at a higher player count.
Yeah, I think it'd be much better because, like I said, with just us two, we're just freely drawn. We want to get more players to play this game. So I'm definitely going to bring this to the next board game meetup. Now the next game is here's another milestone. Now, I love Wonderland's War. And I knew that it's not going to be a type of game that Alicia is going to be into. But I wanted to teach it, I had a board game meetup and I told them I was going to introduce them to Wonderland's War. So I was trying to go through the rules, making sure that I'm able to teach this game. And so Alicia agreed
to play
it with me, just so I know, see if I could teach it to her.
No, I didn't hate the game. Yeah, because when I saw it, I just was like, eh. But when I played it, I was pleasantly surprised. Now, this is not the game. This is not a game that I would play often, but I did enjoy it. And it's funny because purple is my favorite color. And usually he gives me purple. So when I saw purple, I was like, why didn't you give it to me? But he pulled out the character that purple was it the
Mad Hatter.
The Mad Hatter. I was like, okay, I understand.
I let her play as Alice.
Yes.
I always play as the queen because it's red. Red is my son's favorite color, so I love playing as the queen.
Yes.
And I gave her Alice.
Yes, and I prefer being Alice to the Mad Hatter.
And see, she really helped me out. You know, you actually, I think you actually came out ahead. You know, I think you won.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because pretty much area control is not my favorite mechanic. But what I love about it in this game is you're pulling tokens out of a bag, kind of like Quacksa-Quedlinburg. And I like that. You're building up your bag, and then you're just reaching in your bag, pulling out tokens, and it's going to give you a certain number of points that you move up in power. And you continue drawing out tokens until somebody just stops drawing out tokens, or they lose all of their minions.
Helpers.
Yeah, in a particular area, and or somebody gets to 25 points. And I love the fact that you also have this tea party where you are drafting your warriors per se, or your Wonderlandians that are going to help you in this war.
Yes.
You know. And so with her help, thank you, I was able to teach a 5-player game of this. You know, and they actually want to play it again, so we're going to go I'm going to take it back up there and we're going to play it again.
Okay.
You know, so that's Wonderland's War. That's 2 milestones. Now, what does any of them have to do with pirates? Nothing. We haven't got to that yet. So, the next game we actually played with Ryan and Emily. And that was on your summer list. Yeah, we played Daybreak, and we finally won. Well, she finally won. I had already won.
Yeah, but that game is stressful.
It is. It is.
In a good way.
In a good way. Emily said, oh my gosh, this game is stressful. Because we were trying our best.
We were trying our best, and we barely did it.
Yeah.
But we pulled it off.
Yeah, we pulled it off. So we talked about Daybreak, and follow the eye at the top right-hand corner if you want to, see our review of that game. So, now the next one is, I think this is probably going to be your favorite game of the year.
I don't know if it's going to be my favorite game of the year, but...
No. Let's go to Japan.
I did, okay. So I did Let's Go to Japan.
I'm calling it.
So...
I'm calling it. It's going to be your...
We played it a couple of times.
We played it like 3 or 4 times.
Now, this is the only thing that frustrated me. You have 2 cities, and they're 2 different cards. You have Kyoto and Tokyo, and they're 2 different colors. So it's a draw and pass. So you draw, you put down what you're going to play, and then you pass it to your opponent. And he kept giving me cards like, I like to kind of do it evenly between Kyoto and Tokyo.
She wanted to stay in Kyoto, and I kept giving her Tokyo cards.
Yes. Whichever one I wanted, he was giving me the opposite. I was just like,
Right, and the challenge, our first game was stressful, because trying to figure out how to score those cards or placing those cards and everything. But once we got down pat, we watched the video. I think it was Before You Play.
Yes.
Monique and Naveen, they did a great, excellent teach of this game. And I watched that, and then I was like, okay, this is how we score the points. And just that aspect of your planning where you're going to go is stressful.
Actually, that's the most important part, though. Really, planning the card, planning is what you do most of the rounds. And that is the most important part. But you got to do it well.
That's thematic. This game is so thematic. Like, I've talked about this, about how the designer, Josh Wood, was planning a trip to Japan. And, of course, COVID hit. So, like I said, if life gives you lemons, make a board game. And that's exactly what he did. And, I mean, you could see the research that he put into his trip. And this game is very thematic, especially with the certain cards that would give you stress. Like if you do something expensive,
like stay in a nice hotel,
you get financial stress. Or if you go somewhere that's very crowded,
you get stress.
You get mental stress, you know. But then if you go to some kind of like bamboo forest, you get relaxed.
Or botanical garden.
Now you're so relaxed. You get a massage. You're so relaxed and all that. And I like that. That's how that moves up your meter of whether you're happy or your stressfulness or sadness or whatever.
Yes.
And you gain points from that. And also, depending on where you go, like there's shopping and food and what else? Temples and all that. And there's these tokens that go up on the track, and they get past certain points, they score points on those.
So not only do you score points for just visiting the place, you also score points for your stress. So you can go some places and increase your stress, or you can go places and increase your happiness.
Right, yeah. And that game is and it's not long. I mean, it's not a long game.
No,
it's like
not.
What, like 12 rounds?
It's 13 rounds.
13? You sure? 13?
Yes.
I think it's 4, 4, 4.
It's 13.
Okay, I'm going on 12.
It's 13.
So, anyway, let's go to Japan. I'm calling it. That's going to be your favorite game
We'll
of the
see.
year. We'll see. You know.
I did enjoy it a lot.
Okay. All right. So, here's the other milestone. I'm putting the hat back on for this. We played Captain Flip. And not only did she play Captain Flip, she taught Captain Flip at the board game meetup.
Okay. So it's a cute little game. Is it cards?
No, the tiles. You're drawing the tiles out of the bag.
Oh yeah, you draw the tiles and you decide where to place them. And actually, this is the Spills the Jars winner.
No, the nominee. Sky Team won.
Oh, this one didn't win?
No, it did. I was thinking it should have won.
Really?
Yeah, because, you know, Sky Team, like I say, I love Sky Team, but Captain Flip is more for the whole family type thing, but that's okay. You know, but I'm not even talking, it's just the fact that it had something to do with pirates.
Okay. Now, I like Captain Flip. It's a cute, and like he said, family weight game. But I think that I need to clarify something. Because Dwayne, in my opinion, used great and good interchangeably. I do not. Great is more than good.
Right.
So I can like a game, like it a lot, and say it's a good game.
Yeah.
I can really love a game. That's a great game.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when I say something is good, in response to what Dwayne says, I'm not saying I didn't like the game. I'm just saying for me, there are levels. That's all.
Right. And you know me, I kind of like everything.
Exactly.
I mean, there are some games I play that I don't like, but we're getting away from the fact that you played a game that has something to do with pirates. You know, so Captain Flip it's a tile. You're drawing tiles out of a bag.
And you have a little board.
Yep. And the tiles, I have two sides. So when you draw the tile out, you're looking at one side. And then you decide whether you're going to play it on that side or flip it over to the other side. Now, if you flip it over to the other side, it has to stay on the other side. You know, and so
You're stuck.
You're stuck.
So if you liked what was on the first side better, too bad. That's what pushed your luck in. You pushed your luck and it didn't pay off.
Yep, I think that's where the challenge for you.
Well, no, it's only about two or three. I literally think I only turned it over 3 times, and yeah, 2 of them I didn't like it, but it's okay.
Yeah, but we played it a few times, and then she taught it, you know, which I was proud. I was sitting over there proud. I didn't have my pirate hat. Okay, I don't think I need this now. You know, but she taught it, and that's a milestone for me. You played a game that has something to do with pirates, you know. So, Captain Flip. All right. Now, speaking of the reason she was teaching Captain Flip is we're going to jump over to the board game meetup and the games that we've been playing there. So the first game is a game that we talked about, talked about in a couple videos ago, was Things in Rings. You know, how do you like Things in Rings?
I like it. Here is the thing. The knower.
Know-it-all.
The know-it-all, the knower. The game calls it the knower. The knower has to make good decisions, because if the knower doesn't make good decisions, it can throw everyone else off. Here's an example. In the game we played, the category was
the concept. There's the context.
One was things that rich people have.
Yeah, the context. Yeah.
So he put that in something that will hurt. It was yacht. Now he put that in something that will hurt you if it fell on you. I think he should have put that in things that rich people have.
If a yacht falls on you.
That's true. But honestly, when I think of a yacht, I think of something that rich people have. So for me, I felt like I might have had a better chance of figuring out what went in that category if he used that. Now, I'm just saying, the knower has to choose well, or they could throw people off.
Well, it's very hard being the know-it-all. I'm going to continue to call it the know-it-all, you know. And so I thought that, like I said, a yacht, they suspend them out of the water, you know, in the winter. So if a yacht falls on you.
Yes, no, if a yacht falls on you, it's not going to hurt you. It's going to pulverize you.
Well, that's true.
You're gone.
All right. Well, anyway, Things in Rings. That's probably the game we played the most of the past couple of weeks.
Yes.
Because I just been introducing it to people and just seeing how people like it, and as a whole, everybody has enjoyed this game.
Well, it depends upon the crowd. You have to like. It has to be the crowd he played with. When we did it at the board game meetup, they wanted to play it again and again and again. So, if it's the right crowd, yes, they like the challenge and they want to keep going.
Yeah, Things in Rings is a great game. I mean, Things in Rings. So real quick, Venn diagram. You're creating a Venn diagram, and each of the rings like have a certain, like, there's category. No, not category. Attribute, and then there's construction of the word, and then there's context. And like I said, the attribute might be made of metal. The context of the word, right, starts with a vowel. And the context would, like you said, would be something that only rich people have.
So, most people are able to correctly place in the word construction. It's the other two that kind of...
Yeah, you have a hand of cards that represents items, and you're trying to put them in their correct spots out in the Venn diagram. And then the know-it-all is going to either say you're right, which means you get to play another card, or he's going to say you're wrong, and he's going to move that item to where it's supposed to go. And it could go off the board into the none, like it doesn't fit any of that stuff. And then you draw another card, and the object of the game is to be the first to get rid of all your item cards.
Yeah.
You know, so we played it. I love Things in Rings. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I get it. I like it too. But again, we did have one group that just wasn't that crazy about it. So I do think it's probably for most people, but not necessarily for everybody.
Yeah, I got you. Now, another game that you taught, which is a game we talked about before that we've been gushing over, and that's Super Kawaii Pets.
Yes.
Super Kawaii Pets, great game where you are taking these animal cars, and the animals are pissed off or sad or hungry, and you're trying to make them happy. Now,
what I like about Super Kawaii Pets is that is a game that I could teach to my students, and once I taught it to them, they could play it independently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. It's just a nice family card game.
And the cool thing about a game like that is once I teach it to my students, I don't have to stand over and referee because they're going to check each other.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, another game is a game we did a review for. I did a teach on the beach. It's Seaside. Now, at that time of that review, we had only played it 2-player, but we actually played it 4-player. And yeah, this thing needs to have more than 2-player.
Oh my goodness. So, at the board game meetup, they played it. And they were actually measuring their stats.
Yeah, it says at the end, stack your tokens up, and whoever has the highest stack wins.
And they were tied. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. I hope you got a picture of that.
I did get a picture of that. I had to take a picture of that.
That was amazing.
Okay, so that was at one of our board game meetups. Now, one of our local board game stores has a first of the month board game meetup, and I'm a board game cleric there. So we had like what was it? I think it was not International Tabletop Day, but they just had a tabletop day, and I spent the day there, and I taught Heat. We played Heat rather. I taught Heat at the other board game meetup.
Yeah.
Now Heat Pedal to the Metal. I love that game.
That is a fun game. It is a fun game.
And I was introduced to a game that I've actively been avoiding. I'm going to be perfectly honest, because I didn't know how the game. It just seemed like I prefer a game that's real puzzly, that has a little has some strategy. Now, don't get me wrong, this game has some strategy, but once I played it, and it's just mindless fun.
Are you talking about
Thunder Road Vendetta? Man, I can see. I've been sleeping on it. This game is like I said, I just thought it was just more luck driven, which it is. You're rolling dice, but then you're taking the dice and you're placing it on each of your cards in order to move that car a certain number of spaces. And then if there's other dice that you end up rolling in the game.
Is he Pedal to the Metal on adrenaline?
No, it's what's that? Mad Max.
Mad Max the board game.
Yeah. And so when I first was introduced to us, we were sitting there, and there was a bunch of nice board gamers. We were just sitting there playing it, and after the first couple minutes, we were kind of like, oh, okay. And then one guy fired off a shot
and
went after my car, and it was on. It was carnage from that point on. And so I really did enjoy that game. Now, that'd be a great game to have at the board game meetup.
Okay.
Just to have some mindless fun. The thing is, you roll dice, and then you assign that dice. You're going to have 3 different cards. And then there's a 4th dice that you can use to activate something, like you add a chopper on the board, and the chopper will fire off at somebody. And pretty much you move, and if your car lands on somebody else's car, then you roll a couple other dice that tells you which car reacts from it. Like, you might have bounced off and went on into a mudslide and a mud pool, and the mud pool might have made you slide off the board, but it might have made the other car go into an oil slick, and now they move into another car. Now something happens there. So it can be a chain effect.
Chain reaction.
Chain reaction. So yeah, I really did enjoy that game. Okay. So I taught Harmonies.
Again.
Yeah, Harmonies. Like I said, Harmonies is going to be in my top 5 of the year. Love Harmonies. We did a video for that one.
Yes.
What else? So there are 4 other games that got played, but these are games that I played that you didn't play.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna just kind of go over those. The first one is a game that was introduced to me by Ryan and Emily, and that's a game called Skymines.
Okay.
And Skymines is a re-implementation of a game called Mombasa that came out in 2015.
Mombasa is in Africa.
Yes, it was set in Africa.
Okay.
So they did a re-implementation where in Skymines, we're on the moon.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a stock game. Like it's a unique card selection. Like we have a certain number of cards and we place them face down, and then once everybody has placed their cards face down, we reveal them. And then we're going to go out onto the board and do certain things like buy stock in these 4 different companies, and we're building buildings out on the moon, so there's a little area majority thing going on there. And I really did enjoy it.
Okay.
I mean, I would definitely like to revisit this game.
Okay.
I mean, I was kind of reluctant because I was like, oh my gosh, this game looks like it's going to be a lot. But once I did it, I'm like, oh, okay, I can play this game again.
Okay.
It was really nice.
Okay.
The second game is a game called Skyrise.
Okay.
Now, I think you would like Skyrise for the aesthetics.
Okay.
Skyrise is like a bidding game where everybody has these buildings, and all the buildings have different numbers on them. So you're going to choose an area that's adjacent to another building or the starting area. Mm-hmm. And then the next person in clockwise order, they can, their way of bidding is putting a building out that has a higher number.
Okay.
And everybody's going to keep doing that until somebody stops.
Okay.
And then once somebody stops and they gain that particular region or area, they're going to grab the token. And there's these tracks that's on your board that you're moving up, and you're going to score points for those tracks. Okay. I really I'm not a big auction and bidding, but I really enjoyed Skyrise.
Okay.
The next one is a game we just played this past Friday. And this game I was really interested in too because of the aesthetics of the game. The game has flying whales.
Okay.
The game is called Mistwind.
Okay.
And Mistwind is a pickup. Well, you think it's a pickup and deliver game, but I think the pickup and deliver aspect is a little bit more secondary because you're building these routes.
Okay.
Like when you move your transports, the sky whales across the board, in order for them to move from point A to point B, you have to spend krill. And resources are really, really tight in this game.
So krill is what the whales eat.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. And so, but the thing is, if you build an outpost or have another transport in that spot, where your whale leaves that spot, they don't have to pay anything.
Okay.
So the thing is, you have to build up some routes.
Okay.
In order for you can move from one side to the board to the other side without spending any krill.
Okay.
So it's more about the route building, and then there's a pick up and deliver, but then there's also a little bit of worker placement because how you do your actions, you have these discs, and based on the number of that disc, you can put it on these areas around the board, and they'll give you actions like getting resources or going to gaining some characters to help you with what you're trying to do.
Okay.
And I think Mistwind is probably in my top 5.
Okay.
And I'm saying this after one play. I really, really enjoyed Mistwind.
Okay.
And the last game we played was Harvest, which is actually a reprint, but it's an upgraded reprint.
Okay.
I think you would really like this. Harvest is pretty much what you're saying. We're farmers.
Okay.
And we are sending our workers out. We got these little wheelbarrows, and we sending them out to these spots to gain crops, strawberries, blueberries, wheat, and pumpkins. Okay. The upgraded tokens for this game. Oh my gosh. I'm like, Lisa will fall in love with this game just for that. I'm not getting it though.
Okay.
I'm not getting it, but I think you would love those tokens. So that's it.
Okay.
Like I said, that's a lot of games. There's a lot of milestones. like I said, she played a pirate game. But I appreciate Alicia because she has been helping me learn some of these games in order to teach it to other people, and she has been enjoying herself. You know, you've been having fun?
Yes.
You know, I'm looking forward to some other games to show you.
We only got a few more weeks.
Yeah, I know. But then you going back to school. All right, so those are the games that we have been playing, and I hope you've been playing. Let me know in the comments what games that you have been playing that recently that have really like got you hyped, that you really enjoyed this game. And if you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
This has been Blackboard Gaming.
We will see you next time.